everybody, Lord Magicus here. And yeah, we're back. We're going to play more Merfolk in Modern. That's right, that's what it's time for, once again. So, yeah, so I guess the first thing I'll start off with is the shilling. If you're watching my replay and everything, you should definitely click like on the video. And, I don't know, if you really like me, subscribe. And if you really, really, really like me and you feel absolutely like you desperately want to, you can become a member on my channel. That would be really cool. Anybody who is a sub on my Twitch or is a member on my YouTube, I will put your name up at the beginning of each of my videos in the little card that you just saw. So the absolute least I can do to, say thank you to all the people who choose to do this anyway. I will be here doing this content regardless of whether, I get money to help fund it or not. But I guess if you feel the need to, I use it, and I'll just use it to fund stuff for the channel, like the rental services and everything I use. So really appreciate that. But yep, that's all I really got about that. If you have any ideas for stuff that you would like me to see that might encourage you to do such a thing, by all means leave comments and tell me. So I'm interested in trying to make this as enticing an offer for you as possible. So, but yeah, everybody, thank you. I really appreciate that. And yeah, we're here to play fishes, so let's look at the fishes. Also, you can see I am also testing a new plugin for OBS here that lets me do like green screen stuff without actually having a green screen behind me. Here, you know what? I'll show you quickly. This is what it looks like when it's turned off. So yeah, here, I'm here just normally, but yeah, I can turn this back on here, and we can play our Merfishies underwater again. Which, since I reorganized this room a little bit, there's not like room to have the green screen directly behind me, so this is a nice way to kind of be able to do that. And I don't know, you tell me if you think that this looks good, or if you like this, or if you just prefer to not have the background at all. Because I mean, it's not perfect, all right. It takes a little bit of processing time for this, but it's okay. I think that it looks fine. It could be. It's not like perfect or anything, but I think it's fine. So, all right. Yeah. Again, let's look at the fishies. Here we go. We got fishies. See, I am not making any changes to my deck from last time. I think the deck is pretty good as is. Again, the main strategy that I'm advocating is playing Spreading Seas. You really want to use that with Harbinger of the Seas, because that we need to be able to just turn certain decks' mana bases off. So if you can do that, that's a source of free wins, and that's something that Fish has not really historically had a whole lot of. So yeah, I absolutely encourage you to be playing this card. Some people like the idea of playing Silvergill. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm choosing to play Harbinger of the Tides instead, because I think it works better with our plan with Chalice and the Seas here. But everybody, like, there's been success with like both style of lists. I mean, we've obviously done very well with this style, but it's not the only one that works. This is just the one that I prefer more, so we do this. And again, I'm continuing to play Mockingbird. Rishadan Dockhand is not necessarily like better or worse than this card. It does different things. But I personally like this the most because Mockingbird's the one that's going to scale into the late game the best. It's still flare fodder when you need it to be, but it's also really, really good against, decks where we need to be stronger on the draw. So, and if we have anything on board here, this is a really, really awesome card to copy anything. And if not, then, we can just play it as a 1/1 flying, and like, Dockhand is only like a 1/2 on its own anyway, so it's not hugely like worse than it. It's just not a Merfolk, so it won't get pumped up by the Lords. Unless you spend 2 mana, and if you have a Lord out, you can just play this for 2 and copy a Lord, and that's actually way better than Dockhand, I think. Being able to copy your opponent's stuff like Bowmasters and everything, I think that's really good too. So, oh, there we go. Get my root beer here. It's a performance-enhancing drug. So, yeah, all the free spells and creatures and interaction and stuff from the sideboard, like, these are all the things that we've played at one point or another. They make sense to do that, I think, so. Yeah, I really like the way that this deck is built at the moment. Now, that said, again, some leagues are going to go well and some are just, we're just going to get rolled because, you know, Modern is just kind of like that, where it's, there's no guarantees in this, all right? We've seen, like, our lists do very, very well, and we've also seen them just, we've had nights where they don't do very well, so. The important thing is not getting discouraged by a single bad league, so. You have to keep at it and get there eventually. I see we're starting to have some people join now. This is good. Yeah, the link tree is in the chat here. Or, you know, all the relevant links are also in the description of the replay if you're watching it there. So you can follow me and everything. You know, I post a fair bit on Twitter. I'm in the Merfolk Discord. You can always, like, find me there, too. So, and I always read all the comments and everything. I really appreciate them. Alright, let's see. What do we got? We are on the draw versus Mint. Okay. Looks like we're up against Energy. This is not a terribly good hand versus that. I feel like if I keep this, I'm probably going to get rolled. I'm keeping 4 lands and I don't know. I think I have to do, I have to, like, look for something better. I think this actually is a little bit better. Keep this. I'll just put an island in the bottom. Sure. I'm not playing Tideshaper in turn 1. Oh, that was the perfect draw. Here we go. See, this hand is shaping up already. Eh? 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 Shaping up? Come on. You gotta love that. Right? That's classic. I'm so funny. What the fuck? Oh, okay. Is this Storm? Is that what we're doing now? Gigantha? Okay, so this feels like this is probably Storm. Okay, so they don't have another land. That's interesting. Well, let's take away their red man. If they don't have another land, I'm not going to let them just draw an island or something and then go to town, so. And I think if they don't do anything, I'll just Vial and Tideshaper, and then I can tick Vial up and play Lord of Atlantis, and then tack for a bajillion. They discarded Ruby Medallion. Okay, neat. So they're playing Thundering Falls in their deck, which means they probably don't have Flage. What are they playing instead for this? Are they playing like Electromancer or something? Really have a good reason to play Specimen here. Actually, you know what? No, I do have a good reason to play it. They're at 15 here, because what I can do is actually just play it, bolt myself, play Mockingbird, copy the Tideshaper, and then just have lethal for next turn. That's a really good play, I think. Good. They're just dead. They're actually dead on, like, to us attacking them next turn, because we'll just Violin Master the Pearl Trident and kill them. What hand could they have possibly kept with 1 land and then just, like, nothing? Like, even if they played a Ruby Medallion, it wouldn't actually be... They'd have to play, like, Desperate Ritual into Ruby Medallion into, like, at least another Ritual, and, like, I don't know if they have enough to survive here. But if they pass the turn to us, they are actually just dead. Probably get my sideboarding notes ready because this game is going to be over in a minute, no matter what. Okay. So so what does it look like? Flame of Anor is probably a card that we need to worry about, right? Okay. That's good to know about. They have Spell Pierces in the sideboard. Neat. Oh, excuse me. I think in general, Storm should be a pretty good matchup here, right? So, all right. What? Force, yes. Hexcatcher, yes. Chalice, yes. Chalice on 2 is not a guaranteed win on its own because they do have Flame of Anor to get rid of it. But it is still very good. So what do we don't really need the Spreading Seas. And this is not really a Harbinger of the Seas deck either, to be honest. They do have a lot of basic mountains. They were kind of unfortunate to not have them. Well, you know what? They might not actually have as many because they probably have a bunch of fetches and blue shocks. So maybe we don't want to take out all of the Harbingers here. We don't need Harbinger of the Tides, definitely. That card's not necessary. I think we do want Dismember to get rid of Ral. Right, that's usually worth it. What else do we want here? I mean, I guess Tidebinder is fine, or Harbinger. I guess if we really want to try, it's probably not worth trying too hard with Harbinger, but I don't know. Maybe we just have like 3. I mean, I guess Tidebinder can also theoretically counter Storm triggers, but I'm not sure how good it actually is here. I'll keep 3 of these. Maybe on the play I might be more inclined to keep these, right? Does it matter? I mean, it's like... I feel like they're reasonably close here. Like, the Tidebinder could be okay. But they do have a bunch of blue mana, so they're gonna have, like, Spell Pierces and stuff. Alright, I'll bring in the Tidebinders instead. That's fine. It does counter the Storm trigger, so that's worth noting. I'm very... Yeah, it depends on how much you want to risk here. So yeah, this hand seems great. We're going to keep it. We have counter magic, we have Vial, we have creatures to play, so... That's not bad. Really, we want to put this on 2 if we can. And I guess the other thing is if we are going to put Chalice on 2, which does counter most of their stuff, we really would like to have our Cavern of Souls online for that, so it's another reason to consider taking Harbinger out. I'm guessing a Ruby Medallion is happening? Oh, Ral? I mean, I'm not thrilled with this, but it's going to happen. Sure. And I have a Tide Shaper I can violin to use with this flare if I really want to. The nice thing is they give us Island Walk, so like we never have to worry about this blocking. Sure, Preordain doesn't really do anything. That's not the spell that we're worried about. Yes, do you want to flip this? I don't think you should do that. That seems like a really poor idea to me. Yeah, they choose not to. Sure. Ren's Resolve is fine. They found 2 lands. They're terrible. So that Ren's Resolve does almost nothing here. I'm pretty sure if I flare this, like, this is probably the spell that I want to counter. So they're tapped out. They don't get to. They have 3 cards left. Like the resolve is not going to do anything. And I can just use Sink into Stupor potentially. All right. Well, I don't have that up. Let's see. I guess I can just attack, and if they block, then I'll just Vial in a Lord. I'm gonna Vial it in no matter what here. But yeah, okay. Just give them the chance to fuck up. This will turn off like preordains and stuff, so that seems worth it. We'll just keep sinking to Stupor, because if we draw a land, this is something we'd actually like to cast. If they're just sitting on a bunch of like preordains and stuff like that, it's not going to actually help them. I don't know how many of them they might play, but okay. So you have a bunch of mana here. There's nothing I can do about that. You know what? Maybe I was supposed to play this in case I draw another land, because it actually gets the Chalice into. I didn't think about that. But I mean, holding 2 cards here also still represents, like, force. So, I don't know, it might make them more hesitant to try to do something. I have 2 cards. I don't know what their 2 cards are, but they can cast almost anything. I'm just hoping they don't have anything terribly good. That's not good. Well, this Past in Flames doesn't actually do all that much right now. Like, I guess it depends on what's in their hand here. Well, they're not casting the Preordain, like, the casting Pasting, and they can cast, like, Manamorphose and Ren's Resolve, I guess. They're putting themselves in a position where if they keep losing flips with this Ral, they could actually just die to us, like, drawing, another Lord. They're not, like, if they lose one more flip, then a Lord kills them. So that's dangerous. Okay. So they're stacking these triggers here, I guess. So I guess they're going to try to flip it. So they did win this flip. Ral Monsoon transforms into Lord Magicus. Oh, well, they actually cast enough spells to minus it now. I think that means we're probably dead here. I mean, that's fine. Our hand wasn't... We didn't, like, have enough stuff to beat them, like, doing this early. We had 3 creatures, and, yeah, this was pretty aggressive. All right, what do they find? So they found a bunch of mana, but, like, okay. They still have to actually find action to, like, cast here. So they haven't actually, like, demonstrated anything that's going to win the game yet, so... Well, if we untap and find a Lord, then they could die. So we're just hoping for this right now. Their exile zone looks pretty pathetic here. But they're gonna they're gonna chain another Ral here because they won this flip, so. So like none of these actually do anything yet. They're just casting more spells. I guess they have to hope to find Grape Shot, right? Okay. I guess they're gonna use Valakut Awakening to try to find it. What do they? They have to have like Wish or something, right? Which is only like 2 copies of. All right, well, they found the Wish. Okay, now they've got it. All right, so the good news is that we know that they have Silence here. So they do have white mana in their deck. But they're playing Preordains for whatever reason. But we know what's going to happen here. So Chalice in 1 is actually a little bit more important than I thought it would be. Alright, that's fine. You got it. Okay, I mean, that's fine. Just run this back. Okay, let's see if we can get there in the play. They had a pretty good hand, so... Like, our hand was decent, but they ended up having more. We needed, like, a little bit more help than we got. The second Chalice was not, like, the greatest thing in the world there. It's coming by for support. Yes! Really appreciate that. Thank you. So we are 1-1 in our first game here. But we're on the play for game 3 in this match, and we should have like a pretty good chance. Let's see. I mean, this is not bad. We have pretty good aggressive curve here into Force. I think we keep this. I mean, Tidebinder is a really good card by itself, too. Sure. But if, yeah... The Force is a good card to have in hand here, so... That's also really good to have, too. Probably pitching Sink into Stupor if I have to use Force of Negation. I really don't want to pitch my creatures right now. Ral, they have 6 cards. Whatever, that's fine. You can have Ral. Come on, land. You know what? That's still a blue card, so that's fine. Yeah. They might not block because they may be worried about Hexcatcher. Yeah, that's what I thought. So I have the ability to flash in Tidebinder. I have Force of Negation and Flare of Denial, so they probably can't kill me this turn. That is a very dangerous number, opponent. Sure. Or, okay. I think I'm just gonna force this, right? Like, what are they gonna do? Spell pierce it? No, they're not gonna do shit. Um, I don't have to let that happen either. I can just Tidebinder this thing. And I'm pretty sure I just win if I do that. I have 6 damage in play, and I can afford to throw away the Tide Shaper. Their opponent's just dead. Any relevant spell they cast right now is getting flared. And I don't think they have any relevant spells to cast either. They're trying to think here. So they'd have to play a land and use it because they don't have this ability anymore. So their spells cost full retail. So most of their important spells, like their rituals, cost 2. So they'd have to at least like play a land and then tap out. So they have nothing they can actually do from here with just 1 mana. So there we go. We beat Storm. We're on the board with a win. Merfolk number 1. Excuse me. But yeah, that was good. Yeah, I think we're generally favored in this match overall. Like, we're probably one of like the more favored decks versus Storm. We have cards that interact on the stack. We have cards that interact when they're in play, and we have a fairly quick clock against them. So, all the things that you really want against combo decks. All right, what are we up against here? The Gremlin. Okay. They are on the play. So we start on the draw again. This is probably energy, but this is a hand that's probably also worth keeping. We have 2 lands, Spreading Seas and Harbinger here, so we'll keep this. Leyline of the Guild Pact? Oh, fuck. Okay. Never mind. We could actually be in trouble here. That is a Ragavan. Okay, so what do I want to do here? I think our best bet is actually hope that they don't have Scion, because if they have Scion, we're probably not beating it. If they, so what? They how many cards did they keep? They kept 7, right? But double ley lines. They could have it. I have the option to. The safe thing to do is to play the Tide Shaper and then just like block this thing. But I could also play the Mockingbird and copy this and then maybe attack them so I could try to like turn 2 Harbinger and turn off their lands. They have a treasure token if they do that though. I guess if I play the Tide Shaper, it probably has to block this thing. I mean, if I could play the Mockingbird and still block it anyway. The Tide Shaper might be more useful to have in hand. Or this could also just be another Lord here. Actually, you know, I'm going to go with the Tideshaper plan. I guess if they... I don't really want to let Ragavan hit me, but I might have to let it. So it is a 2/2 here. There's also a strong chance they might just lightning bolt this thing. Okay. I'm doing this in their main phase. Okay, they wanted basic planes. Okay, that's fine. Well, I mean, it's not fine, but it's happening. They might not have another land, though. Alright, well, they do, so that's scary. Alright, what's going to happen here? They have Scion of Draco. That's bad. Okay. Alright. Well, here's the thing. I do actually have a plan for this. I can Spreading Seas the Plains and then play Harbinger of the Seas, and that should actually take away his abilities. Ragavan's gonna hit me though if I keep doing that, but I think I have to do that. It's not going to stop them from casting spells, but it should hopefully stop them from having their ability with this. Because they'll have some treasure tokens from Ragavan, but what are you going to do? They only have one card in hand right now, so, like, yeah. Maybe they won't find a whole lot of stuff. But I gotta do something to slow them down before I die. I just need them to draw, like, I don't know, more ley lines or something useless. Like, more Ragavans, maybe. Just do nothing. Oh, that's bad. Okay. So if I play this here, it gives me the potential to draw, like, Sink into Stupor to bounce the Scion. Okay, I really thought that was going to work. But it appears to still have all of its abilities. I think we're actually just dead to this. I actually thought that this would be the thing that applies last here. But... Alright. No, I can't beat this. This is going to kill me. Alright. Well, I mean, okay, so yeah, I guess no matter what we were going to do, it was just death. Yeah. They kept Leyline, Ragavan, and Scion, which we can probably beat them having one of those things, but, like, not all of them. This match is one of the ones where it doesn't feel like you have a lot of agency, because they're when they have, like, their really good hands, there is literally nothing that you can do about it. Like, it's just incredibly broken. So, but, like, sometimes they just have, like, really mediocre hands that don't do a whole lot. So it's if that's the case, then you actually end up faring a whole lot better. For this, I do think we want Subtlety, and because of Ragavan, I think we want Dismember. Yeah, Spreading Seas is probably not going to be useful at all. Harbinger of the Tides could be, but it's not guaranteed to be. I think Flare is also potentially useful. Hexcatcher is probably not that important. Oh yeah, Harbinger of the Seas is actually probably just... If they have Leyline out, Harbinger's not going to do anything. So, what do we... I'm trying to think. They might have the Kavu in this deck, which means that Tidebinder would be more useful against that. I'm just going to take out Harbinger. I think the Hexcatcher is probably better than that. Alright, let's try. We're on the play. I mean, they got to be on the play with a great hand. Like, they're, like, unbeatable start, so... This might be okay. It's not amazing. I think I do keep this, though. Like, with this hand, I probably would end up taking Vial up to 4. Well, they don't have a ley line here, so that's good. I'm probably also not going to run out Harbinger here. Just pass. I think if I... What? I mean, if I need to shock myself for this on my 4th turn, so be it. That's fine, but... It's not really a reason to play it when I already have at least one more land in hand, so... They milled a ley line that they don't need. Okay. Alright, what would you like to do? Are you going to dash Ragavan? Oh, Kapu. Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to bounce it with Harbinger. Or maybe Tidebinder off the top could be really good. Neat. Wait for this thing to attack. Just bounce it. You're gonna crack that fetch land while I have this mana up? Man, that is a risky proposition in the face of Tidebinder. But I guess they wanted to make it a 5/5, so... And discarded Orcish Bowmasters. Oh, that's good to know about. That's not gonna stop this from doing what I want it to do, opponent. This trigger still happens. Please lightning bolt this thing. I will look like a genius here. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we're just going to perform the same trick again next turn, so... Yeah, that's fine. This thing does not have reach, notably, so... It's also very good. Sure. We discarded another ley line. Sure, that's fine. Lage, huh? Could have another ley line binding, but they do not. Alright, we got there. That was a little bit weird, but, you know, we figured it out. Just had enough interaction. So they do have the Kavu, so the Tidebinder is actually not that bad. And they do have Bowmaster, so the Hexcatcher is actually not that good. Do I want to change anything else here? Maybe I could try Harbinger of the Seas here. Let's just not have Hexcatcher. Like, it would have actually been really good in that game, so... Certainly possible that's the way we're supposed to go with this. Alright, let's try this. I mean, this kind of forces them to start with a leyline hand here. No, this is really bad. This is fine, actually. I have 2 lands here. I guess I'm just getting rid of Harbinger of the Tides. We have a leyline. Oh, fuck. Alright. Please do not have Ragavan. They do. They have... Oh, no, they have Lightning Bolt. Okay, that's interesting. They for sure kept Bolt in here. That's what's going on. I almost kind of have to play the Tide Shaper and just hope that they don't have Bolt anyway, though. So I don't think I can win this game otherwise. interesting. They didn't do it, so what does this mean? I guess if oh, they're not playing a Scion here either. That's neat. Why would you bolt yourself if you don't have anything to do? Okay. I think I'm just gonna play the Harbinger this turn, so let's attack with the Tide Shaper first. And keep the Master of the Pearl Trident. Oh, you know what it is? No, I guess they could have had, like, Mystical Dispute or something like that. They did have a Bolt, but they didn't want to use it on Tide Shaper for whatever reason. That's interesting. Okay, so then what was the point of shocking yourself? You could have taken the damage. Okay, well, they obviously don't have Flare here, so... okay. I think I'm just going to continue this plan right now. Try to hold up Flare until they tap out, and then I just play... Well, playing a Harbinger of the Sea isn't actually going to do anything. The Sink into Stupor bouncing the ley line almost does, though. They just have a bunch of bolts. No, they have leyline binding. I don't think I actually care about that. Sure. Hmm. I don't think there's any advantage to playing this right now. So if I draw a land, I can still cast anything, and if I don't draw a land, I could always. If I really want to cast this, I still can. They got a basic mountain here, that's smart. Well, that's bad. It's just gonna... I mean, it's not... I have to let it happen, right? Like, it's just gonna kill off Master here. They only have 2 cards left, so... I guess that's sort of fine. They can get Flooded Strand. Yeah, it's not good, but I don't want to... There's no point to flaring that there. Alright. This might be the point where I need to start casting... What? Cast Mockingbird as flare food here. Then I can play Master and Mockingbird, and then maybe next turn Harbinger. It's not an ideal sequence, but the other option is play Harbinger first. Yeah, but then if anything bad happens and I need to, like, flare, I don't really want to get rid of this. I'm just hoping that they run out of removal, that they just have, like, more ley lines or something useless in hand. We're gonna need some help here, though. Yeah, because, like, I'm assuming this turn they're probably gonna try to, like, bring back Flage. If they play, like, what do they need? They did not surveil a thing. Okay, that's interesting. Oh my god. Yeah, that has to happen, unfortunately. Sure. I have to keep this flare for when they try to bring the other one back and so that their graveyard empties out and they can't do it again. I mean, he could still kill this thing, but I just need a creature in play here, and I still have the bird up to flare Titan, so no, nothing. Okay, so their hand might just be a bunch of lands. It could be like Mystical Dispute or something like that, or Spell Snare. They could have something of that sort. Bowmasters. I think that has to be okay. They can kill the Mockingbird, but sure, that doesn't matter. That was always going to happen. This has Island Walk, so they can't use fetch lands to put things in the graveyard now, so that's nice. So drawing lands is kind of useless for them. Drawing ley lines is kind of useless for them. Lightning Bolt. Ooh, that's rough. That's exactly what I did not want to see here. They found removal, and they can bring back Flage, so I have to burn this flare and get rid of my fucking Lord of Atlantis. This is bad. All right. That was a really, really bad draw for us. Yeah, this has to die in a fire. But now we need to like draw some relevant threats here, and they still have a card in hand and this Bowmaster's up. This doesn't really do anything. This is pointless. The other problem here is that now their fetch lands actually do something. May as well get rid of this stupid army token. But they can fetch and surveil now and try to fuel up Flage now that Harbinger's gone. Oh, that's neat. I don't have to do it right here, so I can just wait. I'm not going to bounce the Bowmasters. I might not even block it, to be honest. There's not really a good reason to, because it's just going to make it faster when this gets back online. Put Gigantha in hand, that makes sense. We are in a bad spot. They've had a... They just had, like, a ton of removal this game. What? Binding, 2 bolts, 2 flages here, plus Bowmasters. Very difficult. It's not the worst thing ever. Why didn't we flare the bolt against Harbinger of the Seas? Because even if we flared the bolt against Harbinger, they still could have just cast Flage because they still have Leyline. That's why. I needed to flare the Flage. Because if that ends up in play, then I was screwed. No, it does not! As we found out in game 1, it does not work that way. Because I played a Harbinger in game 1, and they had a Leyline out from like turn 0. I played a Harbinger, and their land's still tapped for every color, so it does not work that way in here. So yeah, unfortunately, we didn't really have a choice here, and now they have just continued to just top deck removal, and like we're really struggling here. I guess I have to Harbinger this thing back to their hand in their turn. Let's try to stem the bleeding a little bit. Well, let's see, we're up to, what, 2 bolts, 2 flages, and 2 leyline bindings, and now we have Scion here to try to race, which is basically impossible because of leyline. Oh, yeah, and this thing has Vigilance now, so we're actually just dead. Yeah, sure. Alright. Yeah, they in game 1, they had a leyline Scion hand with a Ragavan, and there's not really anything we could do about it. We managed to interact with them game 2 when they didn't have leyline shenanigans, but then game 3 they just had a bajillion removal spells, and we just couldn't keep up with it, so... I don't know, I feel like more often than not we're going to beat that deck, but like, yeah, it's one of those very, very... you know, if it's a bug, then yeah, then that could be. I'd have to actually go and check, but I am very sure that their land still said that they tapped for whatever color. So, but I don't know. Like, I think in general we're pretty good against it, but it's one of those like dice roller kind of things where whether you win or not is not really based upon anything that you're doing so much as it is how lucky their opening hands are. Very, very high variance. I think this hand is fine. I'm going to keep this, and I'm probably just going to play this Mockingbird in turn 1, just so that I have Flare of Denial up. This lets me do whatever I want here in late game or turn 2, and I don't have to worry too much. We're up against Haley's World. Undercity Swords. Okay, so this might be a frog deck. Flare of Denial goes into their graveyard. Neat. Okay. Well, then there's probably not going to be a better time to play this Master of the Pearl Trident, so I can always sacrifice the Mockingbird if they play a frog. So I may as well do this now. And if they don't do it, then I can always flash in Hexcatcher whenever I want to. Whereas Master, I have to tap out for it. But yeah, if they don't do anything here, then I just play a land and I can just cast this for actual mana. But I suspect I'm flaring a frog this turn. That's usually how this goes. Black. Oh, Fatal Push? I mean, I guess. What was the point of bolting yourself with this land? I guess they were worried about, like, Spell Pierce or something? I don't know. Interesting. Alright. Let's attack. I think I'm gonna Spreading Seas this thing. So let's seize it, and then I can flare it if I need to. If they try to, like, Spell Pierce to protect this thing, I'll just flare. Spell Snare. Okay, that's pretty good. Oh, they might not have another black source. It's possible. Although they do not. Okay, so what do we got? Oculus? Oh, no. Oh, are we up against the Reanimator deck? Okay. Well, then our hand is actually pretty good. All right, there's Psych... Oh, no. I see. They're just trying to fuel the graveyard, so... Do we have Murktides in this, too? But there's Oculus. Like, I don't know... Non-creature, non-land. Well, they just picked... They didn't find anything with this card, so... That's interesting. Yeah, I don't really need to do anything here. I don't know, I guess if they just tap out for, like, Oculus or something, I'm just gonna sink it back to their hand. What the fuck does this thing do? Enters, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-creature, non-land from among it and put it into your hand. The rest go on the bottom in a random order, huh? I don't think I think I just, like, jam this Hexcatcher before they find another spell snare, right? I'm not that concerned by this card. Sure. Because this can't be used to find black mana, right? So they can only, like, find counter spells with this, basically. They got Unearth, but they can't actually cast it at the moment. Neat. Okay. Okay. I think we're doing all right here. Let's tick this up. Oh. Okay, what are we doing, opponent? I feel like if they found anything, they would have done it, so... They found nothing. Okay. I think that means we're winning this game. Flare of Denial is also very good here. Like, that all but ensures that we just win. Like, even if they put Oculus in play here, it would not make a difference. No, thank you. Force of Negation, what? Okay. Like, what spell are they trying to cast? Like, I feel like I'm supposed to just Hexcatcher this thing. Do I throw away Hexcatcher to it and just counter it and, like, they're just dead on board if they don't find a land? I think so. I guess if I was gonna do that, like, I didn't need to sink it. I could have waited till their turn to use sink, and then they couldn't have used their force effectively. Now we're kind of just hoping they don't draw a swamp. It's not really where I want to be. They play a fetch land, I'm going to feel really bad. Oh, that's not good. It's like, now they probably will just play like a Fatal Push. But I mean, they have to hurt themselves a lot, so I guess if we have another Island Walk Lord, like, they're in deep shit. If that's all they're doing is just playing a fucking Oculus, then they're dead. Like, our opponent has just, like, conceded the game, basically. I think they just realized that, oops, yeah, that doesn't do anything. Okay, so they just didn't have, like, a Fatal Push. Alright, well, I think because they're playing Oculus, Dismember is a little bit better versus this version. They don't... Doesn't look like they have Murktide, so... Tidebinder is going to be a little bit better here, too, and I think we want Subtlety. So we do not want Spreading Seas. We don't really want Hexcatcher, and we don't really want Harbinger that badly, so I think we just do it like this. We do want forces, though. So that also means that I can just take out the other two Harbinger of the Sea. That doesn't actually matter. Like they're almost worse for us to play Harbinger than yeah, they like hurt us by turning off Cavern of Souls more than they help. We need to have the counter magic because they do have Toxic Deluge. Okay. It's not the best hand in the world, if I'm perfectly honest here. Oh, that's the Mana Traders window. Come back here. Probably have to keep this, but I don't really like it that much. Like, I feel like we're in a lot of danger if, like, something happens to our Vial. Like, they might just Spell Pierce Vial. No, they don't. Okay, so what was the point of shocking themselves if they weren't going to do anything? Okay, they just wanted to cast Consider really badly. Sure, that's fine, I guess. They got rid of Stern Scolding. Okay. Alright. Non-creature, non-land, so they're getting Unearth back, I assume. Yep. Okay. I don't really feel the need to hurt my life total right now. We're just passing here. If they try to unearth something I don't like I can just force it. I don't really... This thing is probably... It's probably not worth forcing if they get that back. I mean, yeah, that's fine. They get their stupid, like... what is it? Dig on a stick here. They're just trying to put Oculus in the graveyard. That's all that they care about at the moment. They got Fatal Push. Okay. Sure. I don't really need to do anything. So. And I probably am taking this vial all the way up, so. It's non-creature, non-land. The rest go in the bottom. You could find a flare or like a force. I think the correct thing to do is probably play a Mockingbird and copy one of these, but it's just a matter of which one we want. This one, the fail case is that it becomes a 1/4 with flying. It's probably not as relevant. This could just be a 1/2, but it digs 4 cards to find something more useful. I think that's probably more worth it. Actually, they're gonna Flare of Denial my bird. Okay, that's fine. I consider that a win. I don't actually care about this thing that much. And we still know they have Fatal Push, so that's fine. They're gonna bolt themselves. What are they gonna do? Oculus me? Looks like it. Which means I'm probably just gonna... I can just Subtlety this. Um, what do we get rid of here? Probably Force of Negation, I think. I think everything else is better at the moment. It will come back down eventually, and I might want to have this bird up just for that. They might have a Flare of Denial, huh? Okay. I think this is actually worth doing this, though. Okay. Alright, I guess I'm just taking Vial up here. Alright, 2 Dismembers. They put Oculus in the bottom of the deck. That's good to know. No, we're not going to be digging for any more cards, opponent. Sorry. Not happening. Well, they revealed Flare of Denial, huh? I think I actually want to kill one of these right now. It's like, it doesn't... Yeah, like, this might be the only chance I get to actually effectively use this card. Then I can still attack them, and they can't actually do anything. They won't have Revolt and mana for Fatal Push here, so... Alright, what do we got here? The Harbingers are on the sideboard. A Vial on 3 is probably better, because there's 2 more Tidebinders and 2 Tidebinders and 1 Hydroelectric guy to find, versus only 2 Subtleties in the deck to tick Vial up 2. Probably not doing, like, amazingly right here, so... They need more cards in their graveyard before they can use Oculus effectively again. I guess. Sure. They only have 1 Black Source, so again, Fatal Push is not actually online. They got Consider, so they're going to find more cards to put in the graveyard. Which is fine, because I still have Dismember ready for this thing. So they can actually... okay, well, that's going to make it a lot harder now, because they can kill my Tidebinder with Fatal Push anytime they like here. I'm guessing they'll get basic Swamp. Yeah, we're not doing too well here. This one, yeah, there they go. They're getting rid of the Tidebinder. There's not a lot of cards I can find here. I need like a 1-drop, so like a Tidebinder, or Tide Shaper, or Mockingbird, or like one of my 3-drops here in order to keep Flare online and Dismember. It's not really the one I was hoping for. Like, there's any number of things they could have, like Stern Scolding or Spell Snare. Okay, well, it's sort of a plus. He snuck that under, but they could have also like more fatal pushes. I don't like having to flare away my own creature, especially because they could just have Spell Pierce or something like that. But do what we gotta do. Oh, yeah, that sucks. Alright, well, they're gonna get 2 things back here no matter what now. That sucks. Well, I can dismember it, but the problem is that they also could have more unearths here. They've already exiled 2, but they're gonna get to manifest twice now. Let's do this before they manifest Dread. Alright, pass. There are up 3 cards on us at the moment, plus they have a board state and we don't have anything, so this is not very good. Oh god, they have... they manifested into another Oculus. We're dead. Okay, good job, opponent. Their hand was incredibly good there. Fuck, alright, well, the good news is we get to be on the play this time, so hopefully we'll do better with it now. What do we want to do here? Anything different at all? I mean, I think we just run this back and just hope for the best. This is not really that good of a hand, to be honest. We're, like, burning ourselves a lot here. We've mulled to 6. Okay, that's some good news. Alright, well, we have to get our clock going, so they'll give us a 2-2 for sure. I think if they don't do anything, I'll probably just play like one of these sinks tapped. Yeah, actually, that's not a bad plan. Cool. I guess if they tap out for a frog or something, we just play a master and then attack them for a lot. I mean, they're at 10, right? Am I supposed to play Sink or hold it up here? So I might want to play Tidebinder next turn. I can't tell what I'm supposed to do with this just yet. I mean, bouncing this thing is probably an option, but I think I just hold on to it. If I really need it that badly, I'll just shock. I'm probably not casting Dismember this game. It seems unlikely to me. They do not attack. That's interesting. I'm guessing that's probably because they have, like, Fatal Push or something. That's good. Uh-huh. I mean, I could just flare this thing, but then I don't get to do anything else. It's prob I can't tell if I'm supposed to flare it or not. We're at 5. What's the right thing to do here? Because I got to protect myself in case they have Toxic Deluge. I could play the Tidebinder here and then use the Tidebinder to flare it. They could just have another one, though. Or, I mean, I could just cast Flare, right? That's also an option. I mean, I think that this is probably correct. The Force here? Okay. Because then I can always just sink this thing back to their hand. They're going to have to discard cards to it, and then, or I can just dismember or sink it. I'm assuming they're going to block and discard something. So I traded Flare plus Master plus Tide Shaper for Force, Disruptor Flute, Fatal Push, and Thunder Trap Trainer. That doesn't seem like the worst exchange. They have 3 cards here. It could be an Oculus, but let's see. I am actually genuinely surprised that they're keeping Force of Negation against us. Like, how often are they, like, using Force against us? That seems really, really just sketchy to me. Discarding that. So what does this mean? Like, why do you not have another land? Is that what's going on? I think if I just bounce this thing back to your hand, that's going to hurt. Um, Interesting. Okay. I have the option of taking 7 damage to get rid of their board here. It resets this thing. Like, I think that actually might be the right way to go. They have 3 cards, so... Oh, this has flying still. Okay, that's worth noting. I can just attack them for 2. That's fine. They have Flare of Denial, so that's worth noting. So I think, what, if I dismember this thing... then what are they going to do? Probably nothing. Then I can... yeah, like, because what if I cast Sync in this? They're not going to flare it. Alright. Let's just hope that they don't have, like, land plus Oculus. Sure. Do it. I gotta pay attention here because they can just dump a bunch of cards into this frog right now. So, how do I defeat this? I might not actually have a way to defeat this. They're just gonna discard 3 cards to it. Well, they'll discard... yeah, they'll discard 3 cards, and they'll have a 4th card to discard in response to the trigger here. I think I am actually just dead right now. Unfortunate, but... yeah, these were not, like, the draws I needed to follow this up with. Let's see how greedy they get with this frog. They didn't go for it. They are, I guess they're just going to hard cast Flare here, which might give us an opportunity to draw Harbinger of the Tides. Harbinger would get us back into this game. We really need something right now. That's not going to do it. Alright, we lose. That was close, but I don't know. Like, we didn't quite have enough interaction to get through the frogs. Yeah, I don't know. It's... I think we needed some more threats, and we just, like, we didn't quite have enough damage to push through. It happens, though. I think, honestly, the more I see Oculus played, like, I think Oculus is actually a little bit better against my specific version of this, simply because Harbinger of the Tides is not as good versus Oculus as it is versus Murktide. So, if Oculus becomes the predominant way of people playing against this deck, then I might be more inclined to play something else, like, instead in that slot. I'm not sure what, though. But Harbinger does not quite do the same job that I need it to do against this deck now. I mean, it's still fine. Like, I think it's still perfectly good, but it's... we lose a little bit of points there. Well, we get to be in the play, and we can keep this, I think. So I think, what, they might still have, like, 2 Murktides, but they're playing, like, 4 Oculus, it looks like. Probably maybe just adjust strategy just a little bit. You can do something like Vapor Snags. That's also reasonable to think about. I don't know. I think, yeah, we just play. They did not show us a companion, so we'll just cast Tideshaper here. We're up against Snapcaster Mage. So we'll probably just like be playing this Tideshaper next turn, right? Or is this Power Plant? Oh, we're definitely doing that. So first things first, no, we're not doing this. We are countering the Expedition map, and then we're gonna island this Power Plant. Just make it as difficult as possible for them to assemble Tron. Eldrazi Temple. Oh god. Okay. Sure. Are you playing against like actual Eldrazi Tron? Do I have to worry about the One Ring next turn? That would suck. I guess I'm hoping that's not what happens. No, if it's just an Eldrazi spell, they're probably dead, so. Like, if this is just like Thought Not Seer, I don't really care. Or the Myco guy, whatever, that's also fine. Yeah, this is not actually going to do anything. Hopefully not, anyway. I think our best draw is probably like Flare of Denial. That's not terrible. Okay, so what do we got here? They're at 4, 5, 6. So we're just kind of banking on the fact that they don't have Allah's Dust, right? I can't actually cast the Sink into Stupor here. If they only have one thing, then we're probably okay. Sure, the One Ring is kind of dangerous for you right now, but okay, that's fine. Yeah, so like, yeah, going full attack here means that the One Ring is now threatening them, so. I guess a land is kind of fine here. That's not really what I want to see, because like, playing another Master doesn't actually do anything, so. Alright, so go to 4 and don't play another One Ring. Did you find it? We played all 4 Eldrazi temples. We could be like getting Emerald. We're close, right? 8, 9, 10. It's -1. That's scary. Thought Not Seer. Okay. They'll probably just take Master, I assume. They took Sink into Stupor. That's really interesting. All right, they did in fact find another One Ring, so yeah, there's no point in them attacking here, so okay, well, we found another Tideshaper, which actually might matter for this. So if we have to worry about Emrakul, then this turns off one of the mana for it. So instead of being 8, 9, 10, we can take them down to 9, 8, 10, 11. Yeah, okay. Alright, go to 3. Here we go. The One Ring's just being a freaking dumb modern card right now. They're at a low enough life total where it could actually kill them, so it depends on what they find in the top, like, what, next 2 cards of their deck. You need to find, like, another One Ring or, like, All Is Dust. There's Urza's Tower, which is not doing a whole lot. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 11, 12. It's not quite enough mana to, like, drop Spaghetti Mom. Emrakul the Promised End, that's the one I'm talking about. So I think they do play a copy or 2 of that in the deck. Alright, opponent, do you have anything? Or can I just, like, kill you now? Well, they're gonna do something. What do we got? So I don't... They do know about this card, right? I think they know about Master. Oh, they're digging very deep for another One Ring. Because if they don't find another One Ring, they're pretty much going to die, so... It's alright, there's another One Ring in the top 8 cards of your deck. Can you find the third one? Or are the other 2 on the bottom, like, 30 cards? I feel like if it's taking them this long to decide that, then the answer is probably no. 3 top, 5 bottom. Ooh, that's not ideal. That means they probably is. Okay. So they have the 3 cards of their choice right now, so they probably did find it. Karn the Great Creator. Okay, so is the other one in the sideboard? Is that what's going on here? It must be. They chose the One Ring. Okay, so that's it. This is a game where my opponent has now cast the One Ring fucking 3 times in a row. I hope this card gets banned from Modern in December, because this is in like way too many decks. Like, this is actually worse than like Oko and Luris. If you look at the statistics, it's just ridiculous. I mean, I don't know. I guess Mutavault is a thing. I don't know if it's going to be enough, but the One Ring does not protect Planeswalker, so Karn can eat a dick. But they can pretty much not safely activate this thing, so... Still do not have Tron, but if they have Emrakul, then they can actually just cast it now. However, if they have Emrakul, they can't actually kill any of my things by attacking with them. I still have Island Walk, so the blocking would not be enough. Did you find... what is this? Do you have like another Thought-Knot Seer or something? Oh, this guy? Okay. What are we doing with this one? They actually did get Tron mana here. Okay, neat. Sure. What are we doing with Tron? Or is it Emrakul time yet? Because right now it looks like if I get to untap, I just win. No, okay, they're just going heavy on K command. Scry X, draw a card. I guess they're looking for their 4th copy of the One Ring. Neat. Alright! Is my opponent go chat, yes or no? Is my opponent gonna cast the 4th copy of the One Ring in this game? Who's saying who thinks yes, who thinks no? Oh wait, do they even have one left? There's 1, 2, and there's what? This one was revealed with Karn, right? So that's that one. So, okay, are they gonna find it? Is this happening? Draw a card with Kozilek's. They put 1 on top, 8 in the bottom. Is this the One Ring? It looks like it is. Chat, opponent is casting 1 more copy of the one. No, they found Karn. Oh god. Okay. So what? What are we doing with this one now? 5 mana here. What are you gonna get for 5? They have 6, right? Because they have the power plant still. So, engineered explosives. They can cast it for 1. Okay, sure. Neat. So I need like Spreading Seas to actually win here. And they have to sacrifice 2 Eldrazi spawn tokens in order to be able to block. But if I just draw Spreading Seas, this game is over. Alright, come on. Give me a Spreading Seas. It's not a Spreading Seas, but I may as well use this. So they will kill off these things. So let's see, if I attack with the Lords here, so 1, 2, 3, right? They have to block all 3 of them. I mean, I guess they could trade some of these off, but I guess that's fine if they do. So what'll happen here, they'll blow these up. Thought-Knot will block one of these Lords. I guess this will block another one. This will still be a 3/3, so I guess the problem is if I attack with any of the Lords, right? They can just they can trade off like these 3 cards with the Lords. So I guess I'm just attacking with the things that actually kill them. Alright, is my opponent gonna find another fucking One Ring? That's the real question here. Because I can still draw Spreading... Well, no, I guess yeah, Spreading Seas would still win the game off the top. I guess if they have Emrakul now, I actually am just dead to it. Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger. I actually... That doesn't stop Spreading Seas from killing them, so... I still have the Mutavault here. So Seas off the top or Tide Shaper still wins. Harbinger of the Seas, unfortunately, does not. They got walking. Okay, that's it. They have enough mana for this. Congratulations, opponent. You cast like a bajillion fucking One Rings and you got there. I cannot begin to express like how much I vehemently like dislike the fact that like Wizards of the Coast printed a card from a non like I don't like Universes Beyond, and I really dislike the fact that Universes Beyond is the thing that is currently dominating Modern. So that's just silly to me. All right, Harbinger of the Tides is not what we want here. Everything else pretty much is though. We have 65 cards. What do we actually not need? We don't really need Mockingbird that badly. I can cut like some of these. I mean, all the C's are kind of fine. The counter spells are good. I don't know. Like I have so many things that are actually good. It's hard to decide what to keep. I don't know. Maybe just like that and one more thing. All right. Well, let's see. This is incredibly frustrating to see that, but this doesn't really interact with them at all. No, not like a terribly good hand, but I think we have to keep it. Like if this was a 6-card hand with this, I would probably have to keep it. Oh, they've mulliganed to 5. All right, well, there's certainly a number of ways that we can like fix. Like we have tons and tons of cards that are like gonna help us if we draw them. So we just need to not flood here, and you know that seems to be the direction our night goes. But you know we'll see. They've kept 5 cards. I would just like to also point out that we started that last game by flaring an expedition map and spreading seizing them, and they still managed to find a way to like win that game with like 3 One Rings. There was like actually like nothing we could do to slow them down. Sure. We need Harbinger or Spreading Seas or something like this. That's not going to do it. They're going to have Tron mana this turn, and I have absolutely nothing to stop them. Drawing a land and a Subtlety like was not terribly helpful here. I can't play the Lord yet because I might need to actually pitch it to Subtlety. Depends upon what happens. They do nothing here? Okay, I think if they do nothing, I can afford to tap Vial. I'm probably ticking this thing all the way up to 4. How do you have 7 mana and do nothing here? I'm assuming this is because you have Kozilek's command, right? That's the only thing that makes sense. Which I have no answer to. Like, if you command it, you can just, like, get a bajillion things here. Which means they'll almost certainly have a 1 ring this turn, so I can't really do anything about that. Yeah. They also have Ulamog mana available now, so we're screwed on that front too. This is very poor. Well, I said at the beginning of the stream, sometimes this is just how your night goes, so... We've had way too many successes to not have this happen at least once. Okay, yeah, sure, that's fine. Oh, well. There's the first one, so how many more are you going to play before this game ends? Actually, I think that I'm okay with that, because I'm just going to bounce it back to their hand. I need Harbinger of the Seas right now. This is my only chance. I mean, does something at the very least, but not enough. Sure. They're at 11. Okay, it's not impossible, but it's still going to be very difficult. Yep. I need them to play the Wormcoil engine first, so I can then sink into Stupor a One Ring. And this gives me the opportunity to potentially kill them with, like, Spreading Seas. It's... I understand why they're making the mana here, but it's not actually, like, that necessary. I guess they can also just sacrifice the Eldrazi spawn tokens if they really want to. Ugin's Labyrinth, okay, I mean, that's not ideal, but sure. Ulamog is underneath it. Beautiful. All is dust. No thank you. Again, this is like my last chance. If I don't draw a Spreading Seas right now, I die. There are 12 in my deck, and we are now 12 cards deep. I mean, we're just dead, because we know they have Ola's Dust. They're going to cast it and kill off all of our creatures, so... Yeah, they're just going to block with the Scions here, so... Fucked. We had a chance, like, we really did, but... Just, we can't get anything to save our life today. We keep playing and giving ourselves every possible chance to, like, have an out to win this game, and it's just not coming together. What is it? Something like 1 out of every 5 cards in our deck is a Seize effect, and we're now 12 cards deep and have not seen it, so it's unfortunate. But what are you going to do? Like, our best possible hope is that they just play, like, Wormcoil Engine and, like, nothing else. But, no, they're for sure going to just cast all his dust and just kill off our board, so we have no way of actually fighting them. They'll be at 9, but it doesn't matter. Sure. They have basically infinite mana at this point. Oh, well, such is life. They, like, barely had to work for Tron this game at all, so... Alright, now it's all is dust time. Yeah. For sure it is. Goodbye. Yep. And I can't beat the Worm Coil engine. Like, now that they have this in play, there is nothing I can do to stop that. That is not helpful to me in the slightest. Alright, we lose. So they're just going to gain all their life back with this, so... That sucks. Because, again, that's like a really good match for us normally, but the fact that we just couldn't find a single seize, like, in that whole game, just absurd. So, I don't know. We tried. But, I mean, there is something to be learned from this, though, and we had a number of turns where it was possible to, like, still win the game. So we played in such a way where we maximized the chance that we could, like, actually draw the card and turn the game around. And I mean, it could have happened, but playing in order so that you actually have a chance of winning is still important, because even if the game looks hopeless, as long as, you know, there's still that, like, 1% chance, you need to at least try. We did give ourselves the chance, it just, like, never happens. Even though it seems like it should be incredibly in our favor for it to happen, just didn't. Alright, sure, I gotta keep this. I don't know. It's all... It's not, like, a great hand to keep there, but at the same time, it's also, like... Mulliganing, I guess, could also make it a lot worse. Like, if you look at it as, like... I don't know, maybe I'm supposed to mulligan the hand. I don't know, it's... We only had, like, 2 creatures, which is not a great number, but... There's only so much you can do. Okay, our opponent has not actually, like, shown us what's going on here, because they're playing a Scalding Tarn. I guess... I almost don't even want to play anything right now, because they're probably just gonna bolt anything I play. And if I play something, then they might have an idea what's up, so... I'd rather waste their time, see if they, like, tap out this turn, and maybe I can, like, Harbinger them. Interesting. Okay, so this is probably Jeskai control, so let's see what happens here. Maybe they will tap out. It's possible. Consign to memory. Okay. Or other drawing Cavern of Souls might be really strong, too. We'll see. Sacred Foundry. They don't do anything about this. Okay. Cavern of Souls would be awesome. We don't see Cavern here, but let's see. I guess they could have Stern Scolding. I think that I'm still supposed to just go for this. They're more likely to have Spell Snare, and I'm not going to let them use Spell Snare. Alright, good. Excellent. We landed a Harbinger. That's great. Which means they're not casting spells now. They could have Solitude. Like, I can't beat Solitude. If that happens, that happens. There it is. Okay. I mean, at the very least, Solitude exiling Prismatic Ending means that that's 2 removal spells we don't have to worry about. We do still have, like, Spreading Seas and Tide Shaper in our hand, so... Okay. We give it our best. I feel like they have to Spell Snare this if they have it. Interesting. They choose not to. Okay. So I played the Spreading Seas first just in case they were going to float like red mana for like a lightning bolt or something. And if they did that, then I could just go to my second main phase and play this. But this way, this lets me take them off the red mana, which I think is usually more important here. Like, they could have another prismatic ending, but if they do, there's not a whole lot I can do about that, so just trying to disrupt whatever I can at the moment. They could have, they could go like Plains and Shatter, or what, Wrath of the Sky. That happens, then so be it. Yeah, okay. Alright, what are we doing here? Like, I don't feel like I'm not in a good spot right now because very easily things could go out of they could go awry because they can now get a basic land here. So even if I drew Harbinger, it wouldn't actually help me that much because they could just get like Mountain or just like cast Counterspell at this point. I don't have a good way through here. Whatever interaction they have, it's probably gonna work. What are they like thinking about here? Why are they doing this? They might be worried if I have Tishana's Tidebinder that they might want to crack this fetch land before I draw a card. That could be it. Not ideal here. Okay. Alright, let's play a Lord and see what happens. Spell Snare. Okay, sure. I mean, that was likely, but I don't have a choice. You cast one of these Harbingers, I guess. I have nothing really else to do with this at this point. And the longer this goes on, the more likely they are to just like get Flage online and just like murder us with it. We don't really have a good answer to Flage. If Flage gets into play in game one, then we're kind of fucked because it is possible to like bounce it back to their hand and play Harbinger, but it is incredibly unlikely and that this is good that plan's going to come together here. So most of the cards that we want to like fight on that axis are going to be in game 2. Like Tishana's Tidebinder is helpful here. Even just bringing in Subtlety to like prevent, yeah, to stop it or stop the Solitude is nice. So this is another game though where I don't feel good about where we're at here. So our opponent seems to have just gone into the tank over this. Okay, so it resolves here. Oh, opponent said sorry, baby woke up. It's like, okay. Alright, so yeah, they're here. I am actually going to have to check to see if that leyline thing is a bug, because that could have messed up our entire league here. There's Supreme Verdict. Oh, that's rough. Okay. I mean, if we're going to draw Harbinger of the Seas, this is probably the turn. Well, that's not really it, but, you know. I feel like almost anything I cast here is just going to die to Flage, and I don't like that. But I don't really have there's nothing I can do about it either, so. They have 3 cards in hand, like, it's very likely they're holding on to, like, Flage or maybe, like, Wrath of the Skies. Interesting, they're doing nothing? That's not a good sign for us. That's actually kind of okay. If they just have, like, a lightning bolt, we can stop that. Oh my god, Solitude? Okay. You know what? That's enough. Like, they're gonna just destroy us here. We cannot beat them having this. It's rough. Okay. So we're gonna take out Spreading Seas against this deck, and we want Tidebinder, we want Subtlety. Yeah, Harbinger of the Tide is also equally bad. And also, what? We want the Hexcatcher too, so sure, like this. Alright, let's try again. I guess this is a little bit better, because we have the Vial to surprise them with Harbinger. Like, we could actually just get them with it. We're just hoping they don't have Subtlety. Or, I mean, Solitude, I guess. Just, it's kind of a big ask, but, like, this is the plan we have to work with, so. This actually might be a hand where I start with Mutavault, because I don't think there's any chance I actually want to play Lord of Atlantis in turn 2. I think it's incredibly likely I might attack them with Mutavault. It depends. Like, it depends on what land they play in turn 1, but I may attack them with Mutavault, like. Assuming he is dealing with the baby. You know, I think we will, before the stream ends, we're gonna go back and review that game and see exactly if what I think happened is what happened. We'll see if we can find it. I don't know, will Twitch let me go back on the stream and see it? I don't know if it does. We're waiting for our opponent to deal with whatever they're dealing with at home right now. Let's see. Okay, I think I found a way to do this. I'm looking at the other screen to see if I can find exactly where this happened. Nope. So, yeah, no, we're just hanging out waiting here. Okay. Oh, okay. You know what? Okay, I think I see why. They actually did have a basic mountain still. That's why they were able to cast the lightning bolt. All right, that makes sense. All right, now you know what? Then it was doing its job against it. Is that the only time that that came up? I think so. What about here? Did I do this here? No, I. Okay, I understand what. Yeah, all right. You know, and in this scenario, even though the spreading seas actually turned the plains into an island. Oh, okay. That one's more interesting though. So the other lands had their abilities removed. The plains was turned into an island, but it still also had all other land types. It looks like. I think that's what happened. I don't know, opponent. I don't know what's going on, but like, I'm assuming that you're, very, very. It's burning a ton of your clock to deal with this stuff. I'm sorry that this is happening like this, but it's, yeah. Okay, so maybe this was the thing though, because I don't think that Plains is supposed to have those effects because the Spreading Seas was played after the ley line. I think that was the problem. Okay, well, opponent just timed out here, so the game ended. Well, that was an unfortunate end to this league. Okay, hold on. I'm going to try to screenshot this so I can try to understand exactly what happened. Okay, so it should be like right here, right? All right, this is our board state. Let's review this because I thought that maybe it was supposed to work this way, and now all of a sudden I'm not so sure anymore. Okay, this is what we're looking at the moment. So, all right, well, our league ended 2-3, so we lost some matches I think we had like really good chances at, but and unfortunately the last game our opponent just like ran out of time because of I guess their kid woke up and they had to go and deal with that, and then they just like got clocked out by it. Unfortunate, but that's how life is sometimes. So we ended up 2-3 this week, and like the one of those wins was just like kind of given to us. Not the best, but all right. Here's our situation. We have our Harbinger here, which is turning off this one, and that appears to be working correctly. So yeah. However, we also have this spreading seas here that is working on this plains, which means that this came in first, right? These came in on turn 0, and then I played this later on this plains, which should mean it is a plains with all these abilities, right? And then it gets spreading seized, and it should just become an island at this point. But Scion of Draco still has what is it? It has, does it care about? I mean, or maybe this is what I'm missing here. Oh, you know what? Well, let's look. Maybe this is actually. Maybe it's just the color. Maybe the mana is actually not an issue here. You actually might not need to have the land types for this just in order to play it. Okay, so. No, okay. No, so, you know what? No, this actually was working. Okay, so this was working correctly because this has the abilities because of the second effect of this thing, not the first one. So they didn't have any mana here, but I guess they had the abilities from the Scion still affected because this turns everything in all colors. So once this is in play, it's already like killing us. So, yeah. All right. So we can say at least that the seizing effect actually did work on them correctly. It's just that because this was already in play at that point, like turning off their mana didn't really do anything because this thing was still beating the shit out of us. So, all right, there we go. We figured it out. We got it. Everything was okay. It worked out the way it was MTGO was expected it to. So there is no issue. No, the only issue is that we just had a bunch of like close things that just kind of didn't work out for us. Like we started off really strong against Storm, but yeah, what? Then went to pot really quick after that. So what was it? It was Storm. Murktide was one that we lost against. Eldrazi Tron was one that we lost against, and what was the other one? And the last one was the Jeskai deck, and trying to think what the other one was. Was it another Eldrazi deck? I think it was. I just had it open here a second ago. No, I'm sorry. No, the other one was the 5-color deck, right? So yeah, we beat Storm, then we like lost 5-color unfortunately because yeah, that was just a case of them just having like Leon Scions, and you know, so be it. Like there's only so much you can do against that because that's just like that's just what. It's actually kind of a lot like how Hollow One used to be back in like old Modern, you know, when like Modern was still a good format. But like where it's it has that effect where it's just kind of like very very high variance, and so like sometimes they have those hands that are just like insanely like hard to stop for like any deck in the format, and then other times their hands just do basically nothing and they just have a bunch of ley lines they can't do anything with. So today they had Scions and ley lines, so there's that. And then what, the Dimir Frog deck we got, yeah, that was unfortunate. We did not have the tools we needed to at the time we did, or time we needed them. Yeah, the Eldrazi Tron player cast fucking 3 One Rings and managed to win the game at like 2 life. So fuck that card. I hate the One Ring. And yeah, then this game, yeah, the energy one we just won. So, which I don't know, like again, energy, like the Jeskai deck. I think that we can beat that, but losing game 1 kind of sucked, and I don't know, like. We had an okay hand for game 2 where there was a very strong possibility that we could get them with Harbinger, but we had no actual protection against the Solitudes for it. And if they have the Solitudes to get rid of Harbinger, then it does become kind of hard. And there's just, yeah, there's only so much you can do about it. So, I don't know. Maybe we would have locked him out game 2 and forced game 3. Who's to say? I mean, that's I think how you're supposed to attack that game, because if once Flage is in play, it is a huge problem for us, so we need to like try to make sure that it's not in play. So like having Flare and Subtlety for it, or even Tidebinder help a fair bit. Because yeah, if they start Lightning Helixing us every turn, like we're sunk. So, but I don't know, like tonight was not really our night. We've had like other nights where it was, and yeah, like that's just Modern. So we'll see. Maybe next week we'll be back on top. So. Find out, but we'll be here one way or the other. So, all right, that's all I've got for today, chat. I hope you enjoyed this ride. So this one was a little bit rougher than our previous rides, but you know, that's just, yeah, like I said, that's just how Magic is, and we're not going to let, you know, A-League, you know, turn us off from this. I still think that this is probably the correct way to be playing this deck, so I'm going to continue to do this. Just yeah, I don't think that there's... the only card that I might consider that might help a little bit is, like, Consigned to... what is it? Consigned to Memory? Yeah. That does... Like, there are enough colorless decks that where playing that card actually might do something useful, so... that is certainly something to consider in the sideboard, but other than that, like, no, there's not a whole lot that I would really consider, so... Yeah, alright. We're done for tonight, everybody. Thank you. I had a wonderful time with you being here, and I will see you again next week. Take it easy.